What's up, everyone? Brodie here. So real quick, I wanted to just go over a quick update with my 2018 Mazda 6 2.5T. This is a wonderful car, man. I've had this car since 2021, and it's been through some stuff. But a little bit about what I've gotten done to it and the issues that I've encountered. I'm going to break it down to you, but also you want to watch until the end because I'm going to break down the turbo for you, okay? Because that's one of the main issues I had. And I'm super excited for the upgrades that's available now, and also one of the biggest upgrades I'm looking forward to from Cork Sport. But anyways, let's do a quick run through. So with the power upgrades, this is before the downpipe and the tune. I was making 300 to the crank, 240 to the wheels, right? Now, with the downpipe and the tune, according to Jay before, based on numbers, it's going to add about 50 horsepower altogether. And then with the downpipe, it's supposed to add 12. I have yet to do an actual dyno test to see if my theory is correct, because I just got the motor, so I'm still breaking it in. So when it hits about 1,000 miles, I'm going to bring it to the dyno so that we can go ahead and confirm the numbers. Currently, we're at 240 wheel, okay? That's a 20%, that's a 20% drivetrain loss if we did on the dyno. So if we did the tune, that's 40%, that's 40 wheel horsepower. We're looking at 280. Then plus 12, it should be 292 to the wheels, okay? So that's just with the downpipe and then also the tune as well, on top of the upgrades I've already made, okay? Now, I would say the biggest issue with this model year for the 2.5T is the cooling, okay? This thing runs hot like no other, okay? So if you live in the South or you live in somewhere where it just gets hot and humid, this thing gets heat soaked like a mug. Now, my next upgrade I'm going to make is going to be the CSF radiator, because it's just going to be a street car for the track. So I'm not trying to do anything too big with it. I just want to break that 300 wheel horsepower, okay? Got 8 more ponies left to go. They're ready to. With the CSF performance radiator, that should be able to allow my car to be more efficient with that much boost, okay? Now, on a usual basis, I'm not running the max boost on it. The most I've ran on it was about 30 PSI, which caused the initial, crack in the cylinder head. And I'm also going to show you the crack that it made to the turbo. But I just run a conservative 22 PSI. If things get saucy, I'm going to go ahead and run, 26 to 28 on a usual basis. But y'all, guess who decided to just drop on in during the video? But anyway, that's my wife, Karen. So y'all gonna be seeing her more often anyway. And so I don't really have that good of a lighting. So hope y'all can see me a little bit better here. So I'm just gonna lean forward. But anyways, so for those who are building your Mazda 2.5T, primarily for the Mazda 6, this is gonna be a really, really good video to help you to get some insight of what your turbo looks like, the necessary cautions to take whenever you're modifying the OEM turbo. Now, I would say there are a few upgrades that's available on the market. So you have the Stigen turbo, which is for about $743, or I think $749. That's more like an OEM plus upgrade. It should have updated CHRA. So basically that's the cartridge on the inside, so the compressor wheel and the turbine housing. So that should be the main upgrade, I think. I was planning on getting that because I had damaged turbo, but listen, I didn't know how long my car was going to run with the bad turbo on the inside, so I didn't want to risk it. So you have the Stigen turbo, you do have the Pure 500 turbo, which is a little bit more on the pricey side, okay? If you provide them with the old turbo, then it'll run you roughly about $1,600. If you want them to give you like a whole new core, then that's going to run you about $2,000, just about $2,000 or just over $2,000. So here's the outlook of the OEM turbo. Okay, so this is the exhaust housing, and then this right here is the compressor housing. So when I had the damaged spark plug, which caused a misfire and it damaged the turbo, my engine had experienced detonation. So the main issue was that I was just not getting boost. So whenever I try to add on boost, you hear like this screeching sound and oil just be coming out the back. So all the metal pieces that was coming from the cylinder head and the block damaged my turbo, as you can see. Once this was damaged, there was no boost for your boy. Absolutely not. So whenever I try to accelerate, all of a sudden you would just hear like a screeching noise as if metal was screeching. Thought the solenoid was damaged. I thought the boost controller was damaged. I thought the wastegate was damaged. The wastegate wasn't even damaged. None of those was damaged. This was the only thing that was damaged here. So what I decided to do instead is just to buy a whole new, assembly for about $500 with taxes. Now let's look at the exhaust housing, okay? I wanted to zoom in a little bit so that you can see this crack here, okay? So one of the downfall of the 2.5T, especially when you run high boost, is that you experience this cracking here. This, I assume this happened around 30 PSI. For those who are considering swapping out your turbo, there's a few things that you wanna look at too. Disconnect the oil feed line, the coolant feed line, oil return, coolant return. Once you disconnect those 4 lines, then you wanna go ahead and disconnect the line that connects the housing to the boost controller. Once you disconnect that, then there's gonna be a sensor to the solenoid. That's pretty much it, man. The 2.5T is really a simple engine, but it's very a good, durable engine as long as we get fueling right, cooling right, and increase the durability. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section, man, and I'll see you in the next video.